What up? All right, give me a crazy statistic or fact on the placebo effect and anything on the power of belief. All right, so before we see what this says, I am curious about this particular topic. It's something that I've been interested in for several years and have been exploring it, playing with it, and trying to practice it in my own life, and that is belief in your own sense of conviction for whatever that may be. And there has been a large amount of evidence that people who believe in themselves, believe in an idea, or just believe that something can happen has a impact on whatever that thing is. And I'm about to show you some facts because it leads to my point in researching this that there's some credence, there's some shit here. So let's take a look. There's something to be said for the power of your own belief, and that's what I want to look up today. I'm no expert on anything. I just like to talk about and explore different ideas. It's fun for me. So here we go. All right, can y'all see that okay? Nope. Hold on. God damn it. All right, let's do it. The price of relief. Not relief, belief. Your brain, okay, maybe it knows that. Your brain doesn't just react to the chemicals in a pill, it reacts to the perceived value of the treatment, making expensive placebos significantly more effective than cheap ones. In a study of Parkinson's patients, those that were told they were received a drug costing $1,500 per dose showed a 28% improvement in motor functioning, while those told the same saline injection cost only $100 saw significantly smaller gains. Now, obviously, it didn't help everyone, but just knowing or thinking that they got some expensive ass drug helped almost a third of the patients. 1 in 3, almost 1 in 3, 28%. It'd be 33% for 1 in 3. Knowing doesn't kill the magic. Open label placebos, where patients are explicitly told this is a sugar pill with no medicine, still provide measurable relief for chronic pain, IBS, and even hay fever, proving that the ritual of taking something triggers the brain's pharmacy regardless of belief. Interesting. Sham surgery is remarkably effective. A classic review of 53 fake surgery trials found that in 74% of the studies, the patients who received the fake procedure improved, and in half of those cases, fake surgery was just as effective as the real one. What the hell does that... See, this is my point. There is something here when it comes to belief. When you believe in whatever it is, something's going on. And then the flip side. Oh, I was going to talk about this later. Guess we'll get into it now. The nocebo flip side. Negative expectations are just as powerful. If patients, it's framing all of this as medical, which is fine. I didn't mean to be just medical. We can look at other examples after this. If patients are told a drug has a specific side effect, they are statistically more likely to experience that exact symptom, even if they are only taking the sugar pill. So, I have actually a story of the nocebo effect in my own life. So I've had a history of what's called health anxiety. You worry about different parts of your body. And I've also had a history of OCD. So to summarize or to make simple, OCD isn't just about wanting things in perfect order. You can also just obsess on certain things. And I would obsess about parts of my body and worrying about them. For one example, I remember having a heart palpitation. Not a big deal. People get those. But I would focus on it so much. And I was truly believing as the days went on and feeling that heart palpitation that, oh my God, something's wrong with my heart. I just know that there is. I know something is wrong. And it's almost like anytime I thought about it, I would feel palpitations. It's like I would create the symptom that I was narrating in my mind. So in just the same way, the placebo effect, where you see people getting better with the expectation or belief that things can be better, the nocebo effect is the exact opposite. You have the negative effect. And so I would literally think, oh my God, my heart is failing. Something's got to be wrong. And my heart would palpitate. And what's interesting, I think I was like 18 or 19 at the time. My mom took me to a cardiologist. Yeah, I was like 18 or 19. My mom was still helping me out. Took me to a cardiologist. They wired me up to see if my heart was really jacked up. They had me run on a treadmill, and immediately the heart palpitations went away because my body had to go into go mode. It didn't have any time to mess around with the nocebo thought. It's like, okay, we have to deliver oxygen and blood to this dude's body. And I was not even thinking about it. I was just running, you know? So it just shows that your belief, whether that be good or bad, is extremely powerful. Extremely powerful what you believe. So let's do that. Let's ask some more questions or more things on this. So can you give me examples outside of medicine on not just the placebo effect, but just things where people believed in what they were doing and how that belief kind of helped shape the result, and then do the opposite, do the nocebo side as well, and how negative beliefs possibly had an effect on the outcome as well. Again, it does not have to be just clinical and medical. Anecdotal stories are more than welcome. Let's see what we got. Your performance, your physical metabolism can shift based entirely on what you believe you are doing, whether it's lifting weights, cleaning a hotel room, or tasting wine. What? Okay. In a famous Harvard study, hotel maids were told that their daily cleaning routine actually met the surgeon's general requirements for a healthy lifestyle. What? Excuse me. In a Harvard study, hotel maids that were told their daily cleaning routine met the health. Okay, 1 month later, with no change in their actual behavior, the maids who believed their work was exercise showed significant drops in weight, blood pressure, and body fat. Are you kidding me? So they're doing the same thing. They're still doing their job, but they were told that it was good stuff. Like it helped them out a good bit. And it literally made them lower their blood pressure and lose body fat. What? That's insane. Weightlifters were once given a placebo but told it was a powerful steroid. They immediately broke their personal records, increasing their lifts by 3.8% on average. When the researchers later told them that it was a sugar pill, their performance plummeted back to baseline. Dude. The Gollum effect, the nocebo performance. This is the dark side of expectation in the workplace. Uh-oh. When a manager or teacher believes that a specific person is low potential, they subconsciously provide less feedback and fewer opportunities. This negative belief creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where the individual's actual performance drops to meet the low expectation. So if you believe someone is not worth doing, you subconsciously give them negative feedback, and then that means that the person's performance actually drops because they don't think they're as good. Damn. That honestly makes me think of children. I mean, just like the teacher example, but you know, you hear horror stories of kids that are told they're no good and they're shit, and how come you're not like your brother? You can't do anything good, and then they believe it. They grow up not giving a shit because they think they're not worth shit. It's the power of belief right there. Price tags alter brain chemistry. Oh, I believe it. In an MRI study, participants were given the same wine. I would fall for this, but told one glass cost $5 and the other's $45. Not only did they report the expensive wine tasted better, of course it did, but their brain's reward centers, the ventral striatum, actually fired more intensely for the expensive pour. The belief literally changed the physical experience of the flavor. Wow. It's not just the takeaway. It's not just positive thinking. It's a biological feedback loop. Your brain prepares your body for the result it expects to see, whether that's burning fat, gaining strength, or even enjoying a glass of wine. So, why? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is going on? Do we know? So, all these examples are absolutely incredible. It's amazing that our belief directly impacts our physiology in the results. So, I guess my question now is, what is going on here? Why does this work? Whether for positive or negative, why is the power of belief so strong in impacting outcomes? What's going on under the hood? Do we know? I don't fucking know. Let's see. Right. Okay. Prediction. So the power of belief works because your brain is a prediction engine, prioritizes its own expectations over raw sensory data to prepare the body for what it thinks is coming. So I know that like our brain is a prediction engine. It's always trying to predict outcomes, and that's why people can become so anxious because they don't know what's going to happen, and your brain has a prediction model that's like, okay, what is going to happen? What's going to happen here? And it doesn't know, and it's like, I can't predict. That makes sense, but it prioritizes its predictions over the raw sensory input, over like what's actually happening. That's interesting. It just made me think of like, a person who's scared of the water, deathly afraid. If they get in the water and then they start flailing around, and it's like, dude, stand up. It's a foot. I'm like, oh, that kind of thing. Top down modulation. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical brain, sends signals to the lower brain regions like the the per, peria periacaductal, I'm like thinking pterodactyl, gray, which acts as a gatekeeper. If you believe relief is coming, the brain literally releases its own endogenous opioids and dopamine to preemptively dull pain or boost mood. Wow. The drug is already inside you. When people experience placebo effect for pain, researchers can actually block that relief by giving them naloxone, a drug used to reverse heroin overdoses. This proves the relief wasn't all in their head. The brain was physically secreting real opioids, and that medicine blocked the receptors for those natural chemicals. Wow. So things are being released in your brain when you're acting or thinking something to be real. And I'm guessing the true is for the nocebo side as well. Like if this is releasing dopamine and opioids when you think you're about to get a painkiller or whatever, the nocebo effect, a negative thing, you'd probably release, adrenaline and fear. Evolutionary energy management biologists have believed the placebo effect exists because healing is metabolically expensive. Fever, immune, your brain may keep these systems in low power mode until it receives a signal, like a doctor's care or a pill, that it's safe and worthwhile to spend the energy to recover. It's a two-track system. One is conscious, expecting a result, but the other is unconscious, Pavlovian conditioning. Like the dog with the bell, anytime it got food or heard the bell, it gave food, so then it learned to salivate at just the sound of the bell without the food. That's what the Pavlov is. If you've taken an aspirin for a headache 100 times, the mere act of swallowing a similar-looking pill triggers your body to start the physiological cascade of relief before the pill even hits your stomach, because relief is coming. You've done it 100 times. Nocebo, when you believe that something will be harmful, your brain, okay, so this is what it actually releases. Cholecystokinin, a peptide that actually facilitates pain transmission, increases anxiety, effectively turning up the volume on negative sensations. So while it didn't give me just like a one-size-answer-fits-all, shit is popping off in your brain when you believe something good or bad to be happening. That's absolutely crazy. Now, how can we apply this in our own lives? what can we actually do with this information? Now, this is really cool stuff, but how can the average person just kind of apply this idea that belief is powerful into their own lives? What are some like concrete things that we can do? It may be some real world examples of how we can employ this belief and the power of it. You can't just think away a disease, but you can psychological architecture to trick your brain into deploying its internal pharmacy in performance-enhancing chemicals in daily life. A pre-game ritual. Yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking about. This is something that belief is something big in sports with athletes. You know, they believe that they can do well. And that's another thing. Like, oftentimes in basketball, one of the biggest things is confidence. And the confidence in your shot, for instance. And there's times where a player is in a cold streak. They're not hitting their shots. They're not feeling good. It's just not working. It's not going. The ball ain't going in the hoop. But what's interesting is like they've shot millions of times. Like they've been playing basketball their whole life. They're professionals. They're good. And it's just like almost a confidence. It's a confidence of getting in the zone and just believing that the ball can go in. Because on the flip side, when they're on fire, they're like, I'm going to make this shot. It's going to go in. And I argue that the best players, while yes, they probably tend to have the higher level of skill, of course, the best ones are the ones that believe that that shot can go in. And so you may have two people who on a practice court by themselves both shoot about the same. But one of those players believes that when it's game time, that shot's going to go in, and they believe it. And that could make clearly a world of difference. Whoops, sharing the wrong screen. Shared my notes with you. Whether it's for a presentation or a workout, acts as a physiological trigger. Your brain associates specific repeated actions like a warm-up or consistent coffee routine with a successful outcome, essentially priming your nervous system to enter a flow state before you even start. So maybe it's saying like create a ritual, create a repeated thing that you do to kind of get you in the zone, and whether that be at work or a workout or whatever. Reframing anxiety as excitement. Physiologically, anxiety and excitement are nearly identical. Yeah. Racing heart, sweaty palms, shallow breath. Studies show that simply saying that out loud, I am excited, instead of I am calm before a stressful task, helps you perform better because you aren't fighting your body's arousal. That's a good point. You don't want to resist it. What you resist persists. You're changing the belief about what that arousal means. So reframing, nervousness or anxiety. It's just tell yourself, I'm excited. And that's what you're feeling right now. You're excited. You're amped up. And so just reframing that helps you make it feel less like a stressful thing and more of just something different, something with energy, And while that sounds silly, if you believe it, apparently it makes a difference. If then script, use implementation intentions, creates a mental link between a situation and a response. If I feel a craving for a cigarette, then I will chew a piece of gum. This removes the willpower gap by deciding the outcome in advance. Oh, okay. So you're just going to decide, like, if I do this, then this happens. Making the desired behavior feel like an inevitable reaction rather than a difficult choice, because you're taking the choice out of it. You're saying, if I do this, then this happens. For example, if I go to work, then I go to the gym. And you don't give yourself an option. In the same way you woke up, you didn't have an option to go to work. If I want money, then I need to go to work. You put these things in place to remove willpower and choice, and it just creates a belief that this is just going to happen. Just as expensive placebos work better, sunk cost belief can be used to your advantage. If you pay for a premium gym membership, your brain's perceived value of that activity increases. Well, I don't know if we want to do that all the time. Which can actually heighten your focus and the reward chemicals, dopamine you feel while doing it. Okay? Be careful with how you describe yourself to others. Using fixed labels like I'm bad at math or I'm not a morning person acts as a nocebo effect. Yep, you're training your brain to look for evidence that confirms your failure and actually suppressing the cognitive resources needed to improve. So you can be, if you're saying you're no good, you're suppressing the resources in that area of the brain that would otherwise be used for improvement on that thing. So we have to be mindful of what we tell ourselves. I think is kind of like the one big take home. The thoughts that you think, choose wisely. Obviously, you can't choose every thought, but be careful what your thoughts you entertain, because they can quickly become ingrained beliefs. And maybe you already have ingrained beliefs, and that's you do, because I do too. Everyone has ingrained beliefs. But over time, what we decide to feed can help change and rewire, and we can start to go into a different direction if we so choose. So that's just it. Choosing. We have the choice of what we want to believe. If we choose to believe that we suck and we're no good, that's going to happen. If we choose to think something different and suggest that maybe a different possibility can happen for us, then we may unlock something for ourselves. But it starts with your belief that you can believe something different. That's almost the first prerequisite is that you have to believe that something different can happen. Because if you don't even believe that your beliefs can change, we've seen that the mental resources are not going to be there to then make that change. Yeah. That's all I got. Clearly, this belief stuff has some credence, some credibility. So for me, I'm going to end here with an example of myself and what I can do and how I can practice this in my own life. And it's something I've been thinking about is how my wife is 38 weeks pregnant. I've been pretty scared shitless of labor and delivery. I know I'm not delivering the baby, but just the whole thing gets me worked up, makes me excited. And so I've been visualizing the outcome. I've been like, everything's going to go perfect. She's going to be holding our little girl. I'm going to be hovering over them, hugging them both. I'll be, I can smell and smell the baby scent, and I can touch her, and it's going to be a beautiful moment. And I just believe that that's what's going to happen. And I believe that we're going to go home with our child and do all the things. And just doing that, it's like updating my prediction model of what's going to happen. And so it's like you're putting the result in your mind, and it just feels like the more I think about it, honestly, the more I believe it. Like the more I run my thoughts over this train track, so to speak, of running over it, it becomes more ingrained. It becomes more paved. And so it's just you have to fake it till you make it. It's going to feel goofy at first. It's going to feel weird. But if you believe that if you keep going, and that you'll eventually come to a real sense of conviction and belief in yourself. And once you do it one time, that's powerful. Because once you do it one time, you can see, shit, I can do it again. And then you believe that you can change your beliefs. So that's what I'm saying. I keep thinking about it, like our little Tootie, she's going to be here. It's going to be so wonderful. I'm so excited. Can't wait to be a dad. It's going to be amazing. And I believe it, Anyway, choose something. You don't have to decide right this second, but choose something now. Whatever the first thing that comes to mind that you want to work on, or that you would like to change a belief in, whether it's on the negative side or positive side, and how you want to update it. And just keep thinking those kinds of thoughts, visualizing to yourself what that might look like, and see what happens. All right. Thank you all. See you next time.